So the video today, what we're going to be doing is installing a pair of Oxford hot grips, or heat grips, what people call them. So currently we've just got the standard Zontes grips, obviously on this side and on the throttle side. There's a fair bit to do on this bike to actually be able to get to it, so you've got to take obviously your bar ends off, your mirrors off. While I'm doing that, I'm going to adjust the throttle side. But I'll take these off, route up a wiring around, get into the battery, and I thought I was just going to do it, and I thought, well, actually, someone might want to know how to do it on this bike, so I'll get the camera out, film it, and film the process, see how it goes. So I've never actually installed heat grips before. Watched a couple of videos how to do it. So the kit I have got is a second-hand kit, but everything's still fine on there, everything's still there. So we're going to give it a go, try it, and I think one of the first things I've got to do is take the bits off, take the seat off, get the grips out, and have a look at all the wiring and see which way it routes. So let's get cracking. What I've got to do is just pop the seat up. This should just pop up. This seat bag is actually just strapped to the bottom of there, so I can just leave it on. But underneath here is obviously you've got your battery, which you've got the negative and the positive. I'm hoping, but if I take this tray off, I can just move it up because there is no way getting to a negative at the moment. So I'm guessing you can just take this off and then slide the battery up. I've actually got to the side, there's two little plastic push pins, which are an absolute nightmare, I'll be honest with you. But if you've got the right tool, you should be able to leave it underneath and pop them up. This is the tool you use, best tool it will. If you don't, the plastic bits will snap. So it's basically, you've got these, it's like a plastic screw, and that pushes in and locks it into place. But putting them in and taking them out is a nightmare to snap all the time. So you've got one of them on either side, and then you've got two Allen head bolts on there, so I'll stick that on there. One side, two side, and then you've got your cover which comes off. And once you take your cover off, you've obviously got your battery, your fuses, your relays. So now that we have managed to get the battery, you have to basically lift it up and slide it backwards. Now we've got the battery out of the way, I can get access to the terminals. Before I take those off, I'm going to access the tubes, take these sides off, and then I can reroute the wiring. So for now, what we're going to do is take off this. Let's take the bar ends off. So I'll put this in there. It's one bar end off. Now it's up to you if you want to cut this or if you want to pull it off. If I can pull it off, I'm going to try and pull it off. But I've got a feeling I'm going to have to cut that to be able to get that off. To be honest with you, looking at that, there is no way of getting them off, so you're going to have to cut them off. That one off. That's your left side. And on your actual grips, you will get a left side and a right side. Obviously, L for left side. And this is going to go straight onto here. So what we're going to do is position this where we want it to. So when you position this on, we are going to put some glue in here, but you want it to have Oxford writing forwards and this underneath. It's going to be the same on the other side, so that way when you are twisting the throttle, you're not twisting it too much. Obviously you don't twist this side, but you want the Oxford writing to be forward, this to be at the bottom, when you've got enough room to wire all your cables through. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on here and then push this on. So now that I've applied some glue, put this on. Once you've got your grip on, you can just put a bar end in, which you can put into your locator pins on this side. Put that in. We are on, nice and positioned. That's not going to move anywhere. I can route other wiring down the side, so we're just going to the other side. So I just like to put the umbrella up because it looks like it's going to absolutely piss it down. But stay on the right hand side where the throttle tube is. Make sure the throttle tube all the way to the right. Fix forward. Now I'm just going to push this side on. It's going to be the easiest said than done. But the harder it is to push on, the better. But you know you've got it on. Right, sound. I know that's on. So I'm just going to cut the excess trim bit over here. So just cut this off nice and neat around here. And then what I'll do is I'll get the mirror, the bar end, and put that back on. That's as far as that can go forward. All the action on the throttle. Right, getting stuck. Now I just have to route the wiring. So basically on either side you've got a connector which then connects to your main buttons. You've got two sides here, you've got your left and your right side, and then this is your positive and negative which connects to your main battery. So these can only go in one way. So you get this, line it up, square and square, circle and circle, bets on, steps on. That's that side done. So what you want to do is hide this wiring, and this wants to be obviously tucked away and somewhere where you know you can get to it. And then what we want to do is get the other part of the wiring which goes through to the battery, which is this. Now whoever's had this before and they've done it, we're a bit of a melon head because we've put basically the same colour heat shrink on, show which side's positive, which are negative. Now I know that with the side where you got your inline fuse in, that is your positive side which goes to your red side. The one without the inline fuse goes to your negative side. So what you want to do is get this side and connect this up to the other part of the harness, which can go into here, and then the other side of this goes to your positive and negative. But before we do that, I'm going to fish this through all the way through so we can get to the front, so we can buy it all up. So with the heated grips you actually get a mounting bracket, which this goes on the back of here, and you have actually got 4 holes where you can put the screws through there. There is the option of obviously doing Velcro, but I'll be honest with you, if I can use the bracket, I'm going to use the bracket so it's more secure. So what I've just realised by having a look at this, I don't actually need to bend the bracket because I can put the bracket on the top here. I mean, it's still out of the way, you can still get all my switches, but then it's just at hand without having to mess about with this. So I'll put the screws in the back, now literally using just a small screwdriver. Screwing this on. Obviously, like I say, you can Velcro it on, but always have got the Velcro pack on there, but I'd rather make sure everything's secure. Now, a thing that I would say is to anyone who's not done stuff like this before and not done electrics, check on electrics, make sure they work, but I've got enough experience with electrics, I know what I'm doing. So that is all snug on there, and then what we'll do is this screw here, we'll then, so now that this is where I want the wiring to go, put the screw in, put it back at the top, this little snug, position it to where I want it to go, which is there. That is in, it's not going to move. It's there, so I can get to my grips quite easy. If I want to adjust that back and forwards I can do, but then now all I've got to do is tuck the left side wiring, tuck the right side wiring down to the middle part, make sure it's not in any pinch zones, so when you're moving left and right you're not going to pinch it anywhere, and then route the wiring through. So I've already routed the wiring to the battery to go through, and then all I've got to do is connect that side to the other connection. Again, just wire it all up, cable tied it up, and then we're sorted. So I'll show you in a bit when I've routed all the wiring. So guys, apologies for that being in the way now, but it is raining. So now with it all wired up, we'll turn it back on to the right, let it do its sequence, I'll just let the fuel ignition go on, start it up. Then all being well, turn this on, and we've got the heat. Yep, so engine's on, this on here, press on, and then there we go, we've got the percentage. So if I whack all that up to 100%, and these should start heating up. Now, the thing I would say is because of how I've wired it direct to the battery, the bike doesn't need to be turned on for these to work, so what I would say is make sure you turn these off. However, it has got a battery saver mode in there, so with it having the fuel and everything, if the power goes too low, it'll save your battery and it'll turn off the actual, it'll turn off the battery going to this. So it basically means that you won't kill your battery, but always to be safe, make sure that if you have got these on, just turn them all off before you go. So that's on 100%, I'll try that now, lovely and warm. Try that side, lovely and warm as well. So both of them are wired up, both of them are hot. All I've got to do now is put the seat back on and then we're finished. So that is it, seat's all on, everything's back on, the wires are all hidden. Obviously you've had to go and chase the wires down, but zip tied on, the wires are all hidden through here, full of the normal wiring. It's all in, all powered on. So like I said before, if you want to turn them on, you can do so still. So if you've wired it like I have, just make sure you turn them off. But again, there is a battery saving mode, which it says right there. So if worst comes to worst and you do forget about it, they will shut off eventually. But just to keep the longevity of your bike, the longevity of your battery, never to turn them off. But there you go, all sorted. Get any questions about it, about the installation, any questions at all about the bike, let me know in the comments below and I will try and do my best to get back to you. Like, share, comment, subscribe.